information, but it is a lot of information. So once I'm done, I'll log back on with you and we can talk. You can ask questions. There's a small survey with 3 questions that I would just like to know what you thought about the presentation. So here we go. We'll start out with the quote. A great leader's courage to fulfill his vision comes from passion, not position. John C. Maxwell. Okay, here we go, people. And okay, first of all, I want to say I'm very animated, so you're gonna laugh, we're gonna smile, let's have a good time. I am not a Microsoft chick, but I did this in a PowerPoint, so I want to pat myself on the back, okay? Collective relevance, curating Black art and history through independent praxis. My name is Kymberly Keeton. I have a master's in library science, certified archivist, and I'm a PhD student at the University of North Texas in information science, majoring in interdisciplinary studies. So today, what we're going to be talking about is Art Library Deco. So you've just met me briefly. I'm going to give you a presentation overview, creative influences, artist praxis, the future, and just a little small interactive session. Okay, so as you can see, my hair has changed. And yeah, that was a big deal. But I curate Black art. How did that happen? How did that begin in my life? So I'm going to talk to you, but you can read the slides. I may come in and out. My mother introduced me to art, like at the age of 6. I kind of pride myself being that I'm African American, and my mom made sure that I knew who Georgia O'Keeffe was. Yes, she did. I'm very thankful for my upbringing as an arts practitioner, as an artist, as a writer, as a creative. I began creating collage art at the age of 8. I used to take these collages and I would like make massive installations in my mother's home, okay? And she allowed this to happen at a very young age for me, which is why you see these glasses that I have on today. Because I'm always thinking outside the box, always thinking about what can I do different to help society from an artistic point of view. Through my journey as an African-American bibliophile, librarian, archivist, archivist, and art collector, I've always wanted to own an art gallery. During my graduate student practicum is when I met the future Art Library Deco, and we'll get into more about that. I have always wanted my art to service my people, to reflect us, to relate to us, to stimulate us, to make us aware of our potential. We have to create an art for the liberation and for life. Elizabeth Catlett. I got to stay with Elizabeth Catlett, who passed away probably about 5 years ago in Cuernavaca, Morelos, Mexico. And I was with her for a whole summer. She's a sculpture artist. She was a sculpture artist, very well known internationally. And I just remember her telling me, Kim, you need to get on a train and you need to ride. You need to ride and you need to see life. You need to ride. And you can do that by yourself. I was 30. Today I'm 45. Just turned 45 in September, by the way. So, the presentation overview. During this presentation, you will be introduced to Art Library Deco, an online African-American virtual art library. In like manner, you will learn about Black artists, elements, spaces, and places that help make this vision into a reality in the 21st century. Engage with the virtual Art Library Deco now while watching this presentation by subscribing. Just go to www.artlibrarydeco.space and get your free library subscription. So before I get into this pictorial of these Black women, what I want to say is that when I was getting my undergrad, now remember, my mom used to take me to museums. She introduced me to the arts world. She was into fashion. My brother's an architect. My sister's a chef. I'm the librarian and so much more. And I just remember going to the Museum of Fine Arts Houston like in 2006. Okay. Now remember, I was introduced to art like at the age of 6. I go into the Museum of Fine Arts Houston and I see that they have an art library. And I was just like so taken aback. I was like, what? Like an art library in a museum? So there's another institution within an institution, and I didn't know that. So I kind of like channeled my mom in her spirit, and I was just like, why didn't you? Like, what happened to that door? Like, why didn't we go in there? And lo and behold, I'm trying to figure out, once I get my undergrad degree, like, well, how am I going to survive in these United States as a creative writer? Like, how am I going to do this? So I'll just say one day I'm in my studio apartment in Houston, Texas, and just the word librarian just like flashes across my screen. I'm so serious when I say that, like, for real. Me and God, we're good friends. And I look around my room and I see all of these books and art that I've collected over the years. And I'm like, I think I need to be a librarian for real. So I enter into the University of North Texas. And that is when my life just completely opened, getting my master's degree. So we'll segue into these women whom I met during that time. Here you have Jean Blackwell Hudson, who was the first African-American librarian and director of the Black Schomburg in Harlem, New York. She was an arts advocate, writer, and you see fashionista. Like, I love fashion. Here we have Regina M. Andrews, who was dubbed the first African-American Harlem Renaissance librarian. Then we have Lillian B. Horace, who is from what? Fort Worth, Texas. She opened up the first African-American library at I.M. Turl High School, which was the first African-American high school in Fort Worth, Texas, as well as being an arts connoisseur, club woman, and just a fantastic writer. Then we have here, I'm quite sure you know Felicia Rashad, if you don't, from The Cosby Show, and her sister Debbie Allen, where their mother was a librarian from Houston. Vivian Ayers, she was the first Black art librarian hired and given tenure at Rice University in Houston, Texas. Then we have Miss Mamie Clayton, who opened up the first African-American museum and library in California. Then we have Miss Gwendolyn Bennett, who is from Giddings, Texas, who was a part of the Harlem Renaissance movement, an artist, connoisseur, was the second in charge of the Harlem Community Arts Center. Augusta Savage founded the center in Harlem. Then we have Miss Camille Billups, who was also an archivist. And I actually got to meet her, and she archived like one of my pieces of artwork that I created, like just an amazing person when she was alive. And then we have Miss Bella DaCosta Green, who was the first librarian to J.P. Morgan Chase and built his library collection and was an art librarian and an art connoisseur. All of these women, my ancestors from afar, have played a role in who I am today as an art librarian, as someone who says that in spite of being in a world that doesn't look like me, the museum world, the visual arts world, I still can be this person. And though you don't want to give me a seat at the table, I decided to take my own seat. So here's a little bit more about these individuals that I'll let you read briefly. And I would say the person who has influenced me the most would be Vivian Ayers and Mamie A. Clayton, being that they both were quote unquote librarians, quote unquote, in the arts world. But these librarians were all creative in their own right and made a name for themselves, contributed heavily to scholarship. Some received their PhDs, others master's degrees, and then some just, geniuses. Well, they were all geniuses, I would say. So, I take pride in this little thing I made. Y'all see that move? Did y'all see that? Like, I take pride in that. I got to do that one more time. Hold on real quick. I got to do that one more time. Sorry about that. But I wanted to put like a little mind map for you to see, how this all started. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. But here goes. Spring 2012. Remember I told you that came across my screen and I was like, okay, I can become a librarian. I can eat every day and be this person and have health insurance and all these other things that you have to have in society to be an artist, to be an artist, to be an artist, to be an artist. I had to do this to be an artist in these United States. So I enrolled in the School of Information Department of Library Science at the University of North Texas and decided that art librarianship was the best fit for my career as an entrepreneur. And I did not steer wrong with that. Fall 2013, I applied to the Hirsch Library. Remember that library I had walked into in 2006? Life, it's like ever turning. It's ever turning. Go back to that same place and ask, could I do my practicum there, as well as the African American Museum around the corner, the Houston Museum of African American History and Culture. I go inside of there and there is no art library. But in every institution, every museum, major institution in these United States that are white, European, they have art libraries. But what about the Black libraries? Okay, so I'm thinking about this in my mind during this whole process. Spring, fall, completing practicum, I began working on art library deco because I was just like, I got to do something. Like, that's just the type of person I am. Like, if I don't see it, like Toni Morrison says, if you don't see it, create it. Why not? So I started with WordPress with these tabs, just okay, here's a tab. Let me put something here. And maybe I should put a post up and start, I don't know what I'm doing, but it started to develop. And I had no idea that I was curating information because all of these terms we're starting to use now, digitizing and curating and, everybody's a curator now. Everybody's famous, we're all famous if you have a social media account. So graduation takes place. And I'm still working on art library deco on the side in the background. I get my first job at Lincoln University, there for 3 years. But remember, I'm an entrepreneur. If you have that mindset, you don't stay in places long working for other people. Okay. So I was like, okay, I think I'm going to take one more position. And I did. That's why I'm in Austin, Texas right now. I accepted the role as the African American Community Archivist and Librarian at the Austin History Center, Austin Public Library from June 2018 to July 2021. So what happened? You see those years, 3 years, that's a wrap for Kim Keeton. We can't do it after 3 years. We can't. So I told God in July, I said, if you let me walk away financially sound, I won't walk into another institution and work for anyone else. I mean that too. Like, I love my freedom and independence. I love being able to wake up, and you see this right here? Like, yes. Like, yes. Sweet is the moment when art went pop. That's my mug. That's my moniker. That's Art Library Deco. Like, I know it's fading in and out, but yeah, I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. So Today, throughout this journey, I've realized that I will always serve others. And in doing so, continuing to develop Art Library Deco throughout my professional career led me to want to forget the minutia in the field and build a legacy. What is it, minutia? Microaggressions. I'm a Black woman in America who is a publisher, an archivist, a librarian, degreed, now working on a PhD. How dare you? What? Are you serious? Yes, with these glasses on. I paid for them. So why not wear them? Do you feel me in what I'm saying? Like, taking that road of entrepreneurship and librarianship is so unheard of. I'm the co-chair of the Society of American Archivists, the women's section, WAR. I'm the Arts Commissioner for District 1 in Austin, Texas. I'm in so many other roles. But what's for me? What am I leaving? What am I leaving? Art Library Deco. I find it to be a part of wealth building for my family, generational wealth from an intellectual and financial standpoint. So here we go, people. Let's get into it. Y'all see that? It's moving. Whoa. So Art Library Deco, sweet as the moment when art went pop, is an online African-American virtual art library documenting the visual experience of art and literature through the eyes of various artists and institutions in the United States and abroad. We are more than just a website. Like, I'm having to train people in terminology, okay? The methodology used to develop the virtual art library is in conjunction with galleries, libraries, archives, museums, called GLAM, and refers to cultural institutions with a mission to provide access to knowledge. GLAMs collect and maintain cultural heritage materials in the public interest and preserve and make accessible primary sources valuable for researchers. As an open source collaboration, the Black galleries, libraries, archives, and museums, BGLAM practice emerged that defines Art Library Deco as an independent GLAM institution. See, in these United States, you gotta have scholarship behind you. You just can't walk up and just tell people, I have a library. Like, no, it's not where we are. The virtual art library features curated art news, exhibitions, collections, and original reporting, and so much more. Hopefully you visited, hopefully you have a subscription by now. And it's owned by Novella Media LLC. This is a real business, people. We're for profit, but we still give out free library cards, always, forever. Yes, I'm a real businesswoman. This is not a game. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of our business. I'll put you in our business a little bit. So continuing art as practice. So how many patrons do we have? How many subscribers? Because I know you want to know. At this point, we got 300. We have 300 free virtual library subscribers. As far as the art patrons, it's $36 to invest in Art Library Deco annually. You can pay that in 3, 6, 9, 12, or 36, those increments. And my goal going forward is to have 5 to 10 new art library patrons beginning in 2022, as far as our new marketing plan. We do have paid art patrons now, but of course you always want that number to go up. I will never disclose that because that's where the money comes. The number of library visits for this year, I just thought that was fair to just focus on this year. We had close to 2.5, so that's 2,500 new visits in February 2021, which is the highest thus far. The most visited space in the library in that particular month, the Art Live Guide. So if you click on the Art Live Guide, you'll see what that's about. And the goal now is to turn, those individuals from that 2.5, turn them into virtual library subscribers. Of countries visited, like when I was looking at this, I was like, what? Like, Kymberly, Keeton, you better do it. I mean, we had in February, we had people as far as from Germany, Greece, France, Ireland, China, South Africa, Spain, the United Kingdom, and Canada. And we're not just talking about one person, we're talking about a lot of people. So it's like, please know if you're in this, as an entrepreneur, as a thought leader or creative, don't give up. Don't look at numbers either. Look at the practice. Look at what you are giving back to the community. Everything isn't about numbers, but it is about numbers. Okay, so don't forget that. Keep that in your subconscious. Okay, so a little bit more about our business. I'm giving you a little bit more of the business from the background. So in February, we only had 2 words that were key words searched in particular, and that was for an artist by the name of Charles Mingus and Sarah Mapps Douglas. So if you don't know who those people are, you need to research for real. There were 43 unknown search terms entered in the search engine. So what that means is the terms that they were using didn't resonate with our search engine as it pertains to art or African American art. The number of file downloads, which I thought was very startling, our manifesto was heavily downloaded, 41 downloads, which basically tells you about what the Art Library Deco is about. I would say the most popular download would be the Flint, Michigan exhibition about African Americans and water. It's an interview in particular. We have 4 downloads for that. Refers, social media has been a blessing to us. We had 960 people who referred people to Art Library Deco, Facebook being the medium. Okay, so now here's another grand moment in my life with PowerPoint. And here is just what, some things that we curate in Art Library Deco. The Hip Hop Lib Guide, which is a hip hop information literary resource, which has its own platform. The Texas Artists Collective, which is a collection of web pages documenting work by Black artists in Texas in conjunction with Archive It, which we are a web partner with them. Then we have our own repository where we also archive original artwork by Black artists from around the country. And then we have the Black COVID-19 Index, which will commence December 31st, and we're still collecting stories. I would like to say we were the first African-American virtual entity that actually started collecting stories at the beginning of 2020 in March. I started this in March when I left to work remotely at home. And I've been interviewed I don't know how many times about the Black COVID-19 Index. So if you're interested, you can click on any of these per the PowerPoint that's been uploaded for you to download, and you can access these entities to learn more about them. So I just want y'all to see her eyes move. Y'all see that? William H. Johnson, Mom and Dad, title of this piece. I'll let you look at it one more time. I know, I love that. So the future, where are we going? So of course I'm a librarian, so we got to have a strategic plan, right? Come on. So we're going to create our first 2-year virtual strategic plan, form a virtual docent program, develop virtual art library fellowship, establish relationships with academic libraries. And what that means is I would like to be housed in art library sections of academic libraries virtually as a lib guide, as a resource, and creating a new marketing plan. Now, Art Library Deco will be opened in the future in the physical. I, as a bibliophile, have collected over 4,500 African-American books, which are housed in Houston, Texas in my storage, as well as artwork collected from all over the world, donated. Some pieces I collected, some pieces, just artists just sent them to me because they just, they saw something in me. I'm glad they did. That place, I've decided that it's going to be in Fort Worth, Texas, as of like earlier this month, realizing that, you know, the real estate here in Austin is just like, it's just, I don't have $1 million today. I got a little money, but I don't have $1 million. So, you know, dollars make sense. Location makes sense when you want people to come in the doors. So working on that blueprint as of now, but what I just shared with you is for the next 2 years of what the virtual art library will be focusing on. And here is a little presentation interactive feedback survey you can take if you like. You should be able to just click on it now. If you can't, I'm sorry, remember, this is PowerPoint, okay? So I tried to do something different within PowerPoint. Hopefully it works for you. If it doesn't, it's okay. And I'll pull that screen back up. But in closing, in regards to the presentation, I would offer you today to go to Art Library Deco, check it out, become a subscriber, invest, support African-American institutions in these United States and abroad. Here is the link, and I will put it back here. And if you can access it, then I guess I'll leave it up here for like a minute or so. It's only 3 questions. And then you can just press submit. But if you can't access it, it's uploaded on the, I guess, the dashboard that we have set for presenters. Carolina, can you access it? Can you tell me if you can access it? I only called out you because you're right next to my screen. So. Okay, so let me go in the chat. Oh, you can't access it? Okay. Oh, she calls them dynamic slides. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna stop. Hopefully we still have people here. We do. Okay, so well, I have it uploaded. That was my first time ever doing that, like PowerPoint. So we just need to give a clap again and we made it through. Because I use Canvas and Google. So, you know, yeah, I'm a Google gal. But questions, comments, feedback. I wasn't as comical as usual, but you know, it's gloomy outside. We're in Austin. Remember that. We got a lot of issues down here. Yeah. But thank you all for attending. Let's see if we have anything in the chat. Don't be shy, because I'm not shy. Thank you, Aaron. How do I curate more monthly content? Oh, I research as many art events as I can, art news. I'm always reading. Someone else asked me that. They sent me an email and said, do the museums reach out to you? No, they don't. Like, I remember, you know, like, do you see the color of my skin? Do you see the world that I'm in, the visual arts world? How many Black curators do you see on a daily basis? How many Black librarians do you see on a daily basis? You know, like, so it's a lot of research and it's just taking claim. And, you know, I'm one of those people, I truly believe what you're seeking is seeking you. So we need more Black art libraries, and not just in museums. You know, we need them to be in communities, just as public libraries. So again, that's why we have Art Library Deco. It just rings off your tongue, Art Library Deco. So hopefully y'all get to come visit. I hope to have the institution open right after my PhD, right after I graduate. So we're shooting for 2025, people, okay? 2025. I'll be in year 3 after next semester, and Art Library Deco is a part of my dissertation. as well as community archives. So if you've been to Art Library Deco, you can see like it's a lot going on. So is that dissertation. It's going to be a lot going on. But this is, a part of my life's work. There's much more to me, but this is the major facet of what I want to give back to the community. And I would hope during this virtual conference that you think about things like that. What are you contributing to your society? What are you going to leave behind, for your family, for your legacy, for your name? Remember, we're all celebrities. We are.
So I have a question for you. I'm Erin. So I am also a consultant, and I also run my own business. And I am not a charity, which I think is important to know because it's confusing for people who want to hire me because I work with museums. They think I'm going to do stuff for free or for not very much money. Like I don't have bills to pay or anything. So I am super excited that you are, this is an entrepreneurial adventure. Good. This stuff costs money. We can't do it for free.
No. So I put my company address in there, Novella Media. Novella Media. She said I have 10 minutes. NovellaMedia.xyz. And I'll give you a little formula for that real quick. Because people reach out to me all the time. How do you get paid? I take them straight to the LLC and the brochure and the rates.
Sure.
And that's how it goes. And you have to be adamant about who you are. I have my uniforms. I have a different shirt on every day. Entrepreneur, Black, you need to know and ask me questions. Still carry your business cards. What if the internet goes down?
Yeah, I have some right in my bag right next to me.
So it's just, I feel like it's being adamant about,
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I think being a consultant in this day and age, that's the best thing since sliced bread. They're paying you for your knowledge. And I wouldn't back down on the prices either. I wouldn't.
Oh, no. I'm just glad that you just came right out of the gate charging people money. That's excellent.
That's different. We got to eat. I got a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I'm not, these are not gifts. They are not tax deductible.
No. And these glasses cost.
Mine too. I like expensive eyewear.
But I think we're going into an entrepreneurial society, which is what I started out with, and, I think people need to really think about that. We all have a hustle in us. We all have a hustle. It's just, do you want to work for somebody and give them your time, or do you want to manage your own time? And I love managing me. I do. And I do it well. I do. And you have to be able to do it well to be able to be successful. So it's not, it's not a game to me, but I do love managing my time. And my mother raised 3 entrepreneurs. We're all entrepreneurs. My brother owns his own architect firm in Dallas, of all places. And he's Black. What? And he has billboards up. I'm so proud of him. But it's that hustle. It's that.
There was a guy on one of the NPR quiz shows who called in and said, "Yeah, I'm an architect in Atlanta. I'm one of the 2% of architects that are Black." So yay for your brother.
Yeah. And just the visual arts world, it's not an easy world to get into if you're of a darker hue. That's just, it's always been that way. And that's why, I had to maneuver in the way I have. And I just thank God for my mentors. I really, seriously, my mentors have helped me in so many different ways, opening up doors for me to be able to walk through, to do this work. And in librarianship, I get a lot of support too, because there are not many entrepreneurial librarians. So, but I had to figure out a way to be able to survive, at the beginning, to be able to have this conversation with you today. You got to figure out a way as an artist of how you're going to survive in the United States. Because it's you're an artist. Okay, what? You don't live in New York? No. I live in Texas. I live in Austin. You know, and if you're an entrepreneur, oh, so can I get a discount? No, you can get a brochure and you can pay. But, you know, advice for fostering mentoring relationships. I'm all about, again, what you're seeking, someone's seeking. So there's a mentor who wants to mentor you. I also am about knowing who they are, because everyone is not good for you either. I don't care if they are smiling. Everybody's not good for you. So interviewing those individuals, and aligning yourself with people that you want to be like is most important. Okay, Aaron. But that's what I would say about mentors. Aligning yourself with the people that you want to be like. And you don't have to talk to them. I just showed you like, what, 6 of my mentors? Like, I only met one, Camille Billups, and that was because she was alive. But from afar, I read their work, you know, I study their lives. And that's what pushes me to continue to keep going. And lo and behold, my co-chairs are white. And we get along. So, you know, like, it's just, you know, seeing the world from a totally different perspective too, and realizing that, you know, we're all a part of this melting pot called gumbo. So again, I just want to say thank you for attending my presentation today. Hopefully you walked away with something that will help you in your own journey. And if not, that means that you need to start a journey. How about that? We'll end that way. And I just like to thank MCN, my technical support, and just making sure that everything ran swiftly. Thank you so much, Carolina. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Danuta. I think I'm saying that. Anna, and everybody else. Y'all have a blessed day.